A political and legal storm is brewing in Washington, D.C., as the nation's capital braces for a showdown that could reverberate through the highest echelons of power. The air is thick with anticipation, and the stakes have rarely been higher for two of America's most recognizable political figures. The House Oversight Committee has issued a direct and unmistakable warning to Bill and Hillary Clinton: appear for depositions in January 2026, or face the very real possibility of being held in contempt of Congress. This is not a routine request, it's a demand that carries the weight of law and the threat of serious consequences. This move marks a dramatic escalation in the ongoing investigation into the shadowy world of Jeffrey Epstein and his longtime associate Ghislaine Maxwell. The committee's actions signal that no one, regardless of their status or past influence, is above scrutiny. The Epstein scandal has already shaken the foundations of elite circles, but the involvement of the Clintons brings a new level of intensity and public interest. Questions swirl about what they knew, when they knew it, and how deep their connections truly ran. The Clintons, once central to American politics and global diplomacy, now find themselves at the heart of a congressional inquiry that threatens to pull them back into the harsh glare of the national spotlight. Their every move is being watched, analyzed, and debated. Chairman James Comer, leading the charge, sent a sternly worded letter to their attorney, David Kendall, making it clear that the committee's patience is wearing thin. The message: cooperation is expected and delay tactics will not be tolerated. The committee is convinced that the Clintons possess crucial information about Epstein's vast and secretive network. Investigators are determined to uncover any details that could shed light on the extent of Epstein's influence and the reach of his connections. The threat of contempt is a powerful tool, rarely wielded against individuals of such prominence. If enforced, it could lead to legal battles, public hearings, and a media frenzy unlike anything seen in recent years. The depositions were initially postponed due to a funeral, a gesture of respect. However, after the Clintons' legal team failed to propose alternative dates, the committee responded by setting new, non-negotiable deadlines, signaling their resolve to move forward. At the core of this inquiry is the committee's assertion that the Clintons had a personal relationship with both Epstein and Maxwell. Lawmakers are determined to uncover the true nature and depth of those connections and whether they played any role in the broader scandal. For the Clintons, this probe represents not just a legal challenge, but a serious reputational risk. It forces them to confront past associations and defend their legacy in the face of relentless public scrutiny. The stage is set for a high-stakes confrontation, one that could have lasting implications for the Clintons, the investigation into Epstein's network, and the broader landscape of American politics. As the world watches, the outcome remains uncertain, but the impact will be felt for years to come. The committee's investigation is a sweeping effort to uncover the full extent of the criminal enterprise orchestrated by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Their network, shrouded in secrecy for years, is now under intense scrutiny as lawmakers and investigators seek to understand not just the crimes themselves, but the powerful connections that allowed them to persist for so long. The goal is to expose the intricate system of influence, privilege, and protection that enabled Epstein and Maxwell to operate with apparent impunity. Investigators are piecing together how high-profile individuals and institutions may have played a role, whether knowingly or unknowingly, in shielding the pair from accountability. In August 2025, the committee issued subpoenas for both Bill and Hillary Clinton, a move that signaled just how central their potential knowledge and involvement are to the inquiry. The subpoenas demand a thorough accounting of their interactions with Epstein and Maxwell, as well as any information they may possess about the broader network. Bill Clinton's documented flights on Epstein's private jet have become a focal point. The committee is seeking sworn testimony to clarify the nature and purpose of these trips, the individuals present, and the extent of Clinton's relationship with both Epstein and Maxwell. These details are seen as crucial to understanding the scope of the alleged criminal enterprise. Clinton's legal team maintains that he was unaware of Epstein's criminal activities, emphasizing that any association was purely social or professional. However, investigators are determined to hear these explanations under oath, probing for inconsistencies or new revelations that could shed light on the case. Hillary Clinton is also under scrutiny, not only because of her proximity to her husband, but due to her own powerful roles in government and international affairs. The committee is interested in whether she had any knowledge of her husband's ties to Epstein, or if she herself was ever approached by members of Epstein's circle. The investigation goes beyond personal relationships, delving into whether Epstein or Maxwell attempted to cultivate influence within the highest levels of the U.S. government. This includes examining campaign donations, meetings, and any efforts to gain favor or access through political connections. The committee's approach is comprehensive, leaving no stone unturned as they examine the intersection of power, influence, and exploitation. Every document, testimony, and lead is being scrutinized for evidence of a broader conspiracy. The Clintons are seen as holding critical pieces to this complex puzzle, with their testimony potentially unlocking new avenues of inquiry and understanding. As the investigation intensifies, the committee remains determined to get answers directly from them, believing that only through full transparency can the truth about Epstein and Maxwell's far-reaching network finally come to light. On December 15th, Chairman Comer sent a pointed letter to the Clintons' legal counsel, directly addressing and refuting the arguments their team had made for not appearing before the committee. The letter was not just a formality, it was a clear signal that the committee would not accept what it saw as evasions or legal maneuvering. Comer's message was firm. The Clintons were expected to participate fully, and their reasons for declining were, in the committee's view, insufficient. The Clintons' legal team responded by arguing that their clients were being singled out and treated unfairly. They pointed to other high-profile witnesses who had been excused from in-person depositions, suggesting that the committee was applying a double standard. Their rebuttal emphasized that written responses should be enough, especially given the Clintons' public stature and the sensitive nature of the inquiry. But Chairman Comer and the committee were unmoved. They countered that the exceptions granted in the past were only for individuals who either had no relevant information to offer or who faced serious health challenges that made in-person testimony impossible. In contrast, the Clintons, the committee argued, had a well-documented relationship with both Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, making their testimony uniquely important. The committee has made it clear that only in-person, under-oath depositions will suffice. They have flatly rejected the idea of accepting written statements, insisting that such responses lack the rigor and accountability required for an investigation of this magnitude. According to the committee, real-time questioning and sworn testimony are essential tools for uncovering the truth, especially when dealing with matters as sensitive and potentially far-reaching as this investigation. They argue that only through direct face-to-face exchanges can inconsistencies be addressed and the facts fully established. Meanwhile, the Clintons' legal team has continued to frame the committee's demands as an example of political overreach, suggesting that the process is being weaponized for partisan gain. They maintain that their clients are willing to cooperate, but only within what they see as reasonable and fair boundaries. The conflict has now become a high-stakes standoff. On one side, the Clintons are seeking a process that is less burdensome and more protective of their rights. On the other, the committee is demanding full transparency and accountability, refusing to compromise on the format of the testimony. For the committee, the Clintons' testimony is not just important, it is seen as absolutely indispensable to the integrity of the investigation. They argue that without it, the inquiry would be incomplete. As the deadline approaches, the standoff intensifies. The central question now is whether the Clintons will ultimately comply with the committee's demands, or whether this dispute will escalate into a prolonged and highly public legal battle. A major dispute centers on recently released emails the Clintons' team claims exonerate Bill Clinton from visiting Epstein's private island. Their lawyer argues these emails make an in-person deposition unnecessary. Chairman Comer counters that Democrats cherry-pick just 3 emails from a trove of 20,000 documents, ignoring the broader context. The committee insists that a handful of emails cannot capture the full scope of a years-long association. Investigators want to question Clinton about his flights on Epstein's jet, the purpose of those trips, and his relationship with Epstein and Maxwell. The focus on the island is seen as a diversion from broader questions. The partisan divide is clear, with each side accusing the other of political motives. The committee insists only sworn testimony can clarify the truth. The Clintons may invoke executive privilege to shield testimony, but the committee argues this doesn't apply to post-presidential conduct. Most interactions between Bill Clinton and Epstein occurred after Clinton left office, outside the scope of executive privilege. The committee also rejects the idea that ongoing DOJ investigations should halt congressional oversight. Congress's investigative power is independent and constitutionally mandated. If the Clintons invoke privilege, a court battle could ensue. But the committee's focus on post-presidency weakens that claim. The committee is building a case that their questions are legitimate and relevant. Refusing to testify will be difficult to justify legally. The Clintons could invoke the Fifth Amendment, refusing to answer questions that might incriminate them. While this is a constitutional right, it carries immense political risk, contradicting their previous public denials of wrongdoing. Pleading the Fifth could devastate their legacy and fuel suspicions about their relationship with Epstein. Answering under oath risks revealing damaging details, but refusing to answer could be even more damaging in the public eye. The committee is forcing the Clintons into a high-stakes choice with significant consequences either way. The pressure is intense, and every response will be scrutinized. The Clintons must weigh legal protection against public perception. Their decision will shape the outcome of the investigation. The House Oversight Committee's power to investigate is broad, rooted in the Constitution and House rules. House Rule 10 grants sweeping authority to investigate any matter at any time. This power is upheld by the Supreme Court and extends to private citizens when relevant to legislation. The Epstein probe, with implications for sex trafficking and finance laws, falls squarely within this mandate. Subpoenas are legal orders, not requests, and failure to comply can lead to contempt of Congress. The committee is confident in its legal standing and prepared to enforce its orders. The Clintons face an uphill battle if they challenge the subpoenas in court. As January approaches, the Clintons face critical choices. They could comply and testify, risking political fallout but avoiding contempt. Negotiating for alternative cooperation seems unlikely, as the committee's patience is gone. Challenging the subpoenas in court would buy time, but is a difficult legal battle. Outright defiance would trigger a historic confrontation and likely contempt proceedings. Each path carries significant risk and will define the next chapter of the investigation. The Clintons' decision in the coming weeks is pivotal. The stakes could not be higher. If the Clintons miss the January deadlines, the committee may move to hold them in contempt of Congress. The process involves a committee vote, then a full House vote, likely to pass given the current majority. Contempt can lead to criminal referral, with the U.S. attorney required to bring the case before a grand jury. A conviction carries potential jail time and fines, but the legal battle itself would be immediate and public. The threat of contempt is the committee's leverage to compel cooperation. A contempt charge against a former president and Secretary of State would be unprecedented. The nation would face a constitutional crisis and deepen political divisions. The Clintons' next move will determine both the investigation's future and their own legacy.